Hello, welcome to another episode of The Soul's Kitchen. This is episode 10, so number 10. Exciting. I am very happy to welcome today Danielle Fettah of Grounded Ways, owner of Grounded Ways. She is a meditation and Reiki master and teacher of meditation and yoga.
Yeah.
So welcome, Danielle.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm really excited for
Oh,
the
me
opportunity to talk.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, tell us about Grounded Ways. Tell us about what you're doing and how that aligns with your soul and how you got started and all of that.
Okay, well, like all stories, I'll give you the shortened version because it's a long one. But
Okay. We can do the long one too, whatever you feel like.
no, but I think it's, like all of our journeys where, one thing inevitably leads to the next. And
Mm,
that's exactly what happened with me. I have always felt and known from a really young age that there was more to life than what I was almost being shown in my day to day. Like there was always a deeper connection with people, with um, animals, with nature. Like there was always just this deep knowing inside of me, and I didn't really understand it or know what it was.
can
And
you describe that a little further? Sorry to interrupt you, but I'm just curious. So a deeper knowing. So what did that feel like as a little kid?
well, it felt like things were resonating, but they weren't almost resonating to what I felt like its full potential was. Like, I would
Okay.
go out and be in nature, and I can remember being a younger kid and just being like completely amazed by all of it, and which many children are, but there was just this sense of knowing that there was a deeper connection, you know?
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
and so that thread kind of found its way through my entire life. And I got more curious about things like meditation, things I could do for myself to help me reach and connect with this place that I knew existed and knew there was a deeper connection to. Um, I've had an interesting path, and there was traumas also
Mm,
woven into that fabric, which create a deepening, I think, with all people if you allow it to. And if
mhm.
you pay attention to that, it can really, on another side of it, be somewhat of a gift. And when I had those experiences, it always brought me somewhere that helped me deepen. And one of them was how yoga came into my
Mm,
life and Reiki. When I was going through one particular hard moment in my life, I really needed a deeper healing. And I knew that. I knew that just my journaling, I've always been someone who enjoys writing, and
mm,
I journal in the morning and I um, meditate, but that almost wasn't enough. And I knew there was a sort of an energy to it. I could feel it heavy on my chest. I can always feel things in my,
okay.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
just like we're all energetic bodies, and some people feel it more in their throat when they're going
Mhm.
through things, or their chest or their stomach. And I've always been right here. And I was carrying this, and I just got really curious about it. And just the way life always works, I ended up hearing about Jocelyn Clark. Um,
Okay.
and I ended up booking an appointment with her. And I had a Reiki session with her, and it absolutely changed my life. Um, the healing was profound. The energy release was profound, and I
Mm,
could feel it, and she could feel it. And it was just something that really piqued my interest. And then I started diving deeper and deeper into that. And I ended up going to actually Pam Nadeau for my level 1, and I
mhm.
level 2, 3 Reiki master with Jocelyn.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've been practicing, ever since. And it's been opening doors and creating a depth to my knowing, just like, when I was a child, like knowing that that was there.
Mhm.
It's really been a beautiful way to get closer and deeper to that. So that brought me to Reiki. And then with yoga, it was just a deepening still, like when you follow a path of curiosity for life and existence. I don't know about you. Well, I do know about you because we've chatted about it. But
Yeah.
one thing always leads to the next thing if you're open to it. Like if you
This,
can keep yourself open, it's all something always shows up,
yeah, I do. I know what you're saying, but I think like for a lot of people, just following those steps, like you make it sound so easy.
Oh my gosh. Sorry if I did because it wasn't.
No, I know it's not easy, but that's what I'm saying. It's like to even take the courage, takes a lot of courage to follow that next step because you think, you're in this sort of 3D world where everybody's doing the stuff that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's so easy to get caught up in that, to step outside of that.
Yeah.
But sometimes once you step outside of it though, that's all you need to do is dip your toe in, and then, the rest of your body
Yeah.
follows.
I think if you're one of those people, well, I think we all are ultimately, that, when you sort of like, there's more than just the 9 to 5 and grinding all. Like, I think every human has had a moment where it just doesn't, they pause and they're sort of like,
Yeah.
this doesn't feel right, and
Do you think everybody does? Do you think so?
I mean, I'd like to think so on a certain
I'd like
level.
to think so. Yeah. I'd
But
like to think.
maybe they're not really in tune and listening, like, and I've had a lot of experiences through my life. I just lost my mom this past summer, and she was a great teacher in my life. Talked about this, and
yeah.
in one of the ways, it's like, just to speak to your, if everybody knows, like, I saw my mom's knowing come to fruition her final days. Like,
really?
yeah, and she was 72 years old.
Okay.
So I think it comes to people at different times. I think that it probably showed up for her all through her life, and whether or not she just chose to turn and recognize it is a different story altogether, and that was maybe her path and her journey. But I did see it at the end for her, and I think that's what, I think it comes to all of us. But
yeah, I've heard that it comes to some people like at the end of their life, or if they're almost like about to die or whatever, and then it does come, and it's too bad. You read if it comes so late, right?
Yeah. But I think too, it depends on, in my beliefs, like, I think it was meant to happen that way. We're so tightly woven with each other, and I feel like the relationship that my mother and I had was meant to be what it was, and the lessons that it taught me are more than I could have ever hoped for now in hindsight, and the lessons continue, which is incredible. Like,
okay,
now I've still been learning and going deeper in the past. The other day I was talking to my husband, and I was just like, this, this heaviness in my heart, it's been crazy. It's like I mourn her intensely, and then through that mourning, I'm learning so much about myself, which I just choose to try and take to be better and to go deeper and shed the things that I feel I need to shed, so.
Yeah. Do you mind giving an example? And if you don't want to answer, that's okay.
No,
of an example. Yeah.
I think it's with myself. Like, oftentimes I'm so social. Like, I love being around people. I love talking to people, but I can also be very, a bit of a recluse, like, I get, like, I love my little nest at home.
Well, that's that introvert extrovert, like,
yeah,
I'm the same. I love to be with people, and then sometimes I just want to be.
It's like, can't muster it up, and it's like, no. So,
yeah.
you feel like you're I have felt like in the past, it's like things can get so heavy and it's like,
Mm.
oh, like I'm not relatable to other people. And then I've just had this intense awakening and knowing that, and it came from me thinking about my mother and how she is and what our relationship was, and then going like to dance yesterday, you know,
Mhm. Mhm.
answering the call to go and do things when they come, and
Mhm.
thinking about an event in particular. I won't get into it with my mother,
Okay.
you know, with that made me realize like, no, you just have to get out there. Like we're all connected. We're all the same.
Mhm.
We all go through these things at different times. And so I went to this great dance yesterday and danced for 2 hours and like cried and felt my heart opening again. And it was
Mm.
really beautiful
Yeah.
gift to give myself. So I don't know. They come in waves all of the time. Like there's so many little things, you know?
Wow. So did your mom, so when you say your mom just kind of awoke and at the end of her life,
Yeah.
what did she think about what you were doing, like with your yoga and your Reiki and your meditation? What
Um,
did she have an opinion about?
yeah, she was really, my mom always referred to me as like an old soul.
Okay.
She, al-
Yeah.
you know, so, and that's one thing my parents have always been is incredibly supportive.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it is of what
Mm.
I'm doing. And I've always been a huge feeler. Like if someone's going through something, it's like, I know what they're going through. Like I know, I get this knowing and this almost download of what they're feeling and things. Like it's always been that way. So my
Mhm.
mom growing up with that, she knew it.
Okay.
Well, yeah. And so the more I explained and went deeper into these things, like, she understood and she knew that it was something that really suited me well and fit me well. And then also like I was always my mother's guide, sort of, like she would come
Okay.
for advice or if she wanted. And before she passed, I actually got certified as a death doula. Yeah.
Really?
And but that was the only she was the only person that I've worked with. So it's not something that I'm really comfortable like doing.
Right.
But so within that, I think she was also able to see a side of me because I essentially held space for her. She had cancer, so it was
Okay.
a 3-year battle, and it was very much there was a lot of conversation around it, and I just held space and asked her what she wanted, and explained to her because she asked what I
Mhm.
believed happened.
Mhm.
You know, and so we were able to get really close in that sense, and I think it brought her peace in different ways. So I think she's always seen me and appreciated what I've done. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so she's seen it help me through my life too. So she's known it was a good
Oh,
call.
that's really interesting. Tell me about the death doula thing. Like, how you
Yeah.
just say that? Oh, I just became a death doula.
Well, no,
No, I know. I'm.
yeah, I know. Like, well, I went out on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
No,
After coffee. No.
yeah, exactly. Well, I think it's really crazy. So going back to the beginning, it's like how life just brings you things, right?
Right.
It's like everything, if you listen, whatever. And I don't know if I was listening to a podcast or watching an interview on YouTube or something. Anyway, when someone was speaking to a death doula, and I got really intrigued because I don't believe this is it. I believe that,
Right.
like we're here to learn, to explore, to experience,
Mhm.
have, a fulfilled experience in whichever way it is that we need it. So I was listening to this person and I got really intrigued about it. And I'm like, how beautiful. Because in so many different cultures, like death isn't what we make it here in North America. Like
Right.
it's this huge, scary thing. And it's like avoided, 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 avoided. And
Mm.
it doesn't have to be that, like I think that it can be something much more beautiful and much more sacred if we allow it to be. And when I heard this woman speak, um, it just struck a chord, and I looked further into it and I started reading
Mm.
about it. And then, interestingly enough, shortly thereafter, my mom was diagnosed with cancer. And I realized that, again, like me finding it and listening to this woman, it was
Right.
all part of to help, I believe,
Your
me,
mom.
my mother through
Yeah.
um, last bit of her journey here. So it's a death doulas. I don't feel confident enough to even like speak to it because I've only
Okay. That's okay.
no, I don't. I love speaking to you about it, like, and it's
Yeah.
fine, but I'm not some like well versed. I've been in hundreds of circumstances with people who have been passing, but
Okay.
I have, going through it so intimately with my mother. Like it
Right.
it was beautiful, and it took the, I think, the darkness away from it.
Mm.
Maybe sometimes we put so
It's like you said, you like for holding space for her, you know, I think that basic probably explains it in a nutshell. I mean, that's what I'm thinking. But
yeah,
I know
hold
what you mean though. Like I was fortunate enough to be with my father when he passed, and wasn't anything that I'd ever thought I would experience,
yeah,
and it just happened.
yeah,
Um, and it was such a full circle moment for me because I had given birth, of course, to my children.
yeah,
And I thought, wow, I was, experienced the beauty of birth and then death. It
yeah,
was wild
yeah,
and it was so peaceful.
yeah,
And I was so happy about that.
yeah,
So I think I know what you mean. And it was sad. It was intensely sad but it was such a letting go, a beautiful way and he just looked so peaceful after. So
yeah,
yeah, it's just so interesting. Um, that whole, like you say, take the darkness out of it.
yeah. Because I mean, it's gonna happen to all of us, you know.
Yes.
Like how beautiful if we could just see it as this, sacred passing, and it's like have nothing but love and gratitude for the experience of life itself, and we can look at it that way, where it's
Mm,
it's not an end, it's an end maybe to this and a beginning of
right.
else.
Something else.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean, I feel my mother with me all the time. um Same thing when
Mm,
my mother passed. I felt my grandmother with me all the time, and then
yeah.
I can remember the day that she left. Like I didn't feel her energy with me anymore.
Hmm.
So I
Interesting.
yeah, I don't believe like that's when it comes to the death doula part. I've always been so intrigued and connected to all that kind of stuff. So diving deeper into it has always been something that I've loved to do. No matter.
Yeah, right. So, like you said, answering the little voices or the little knowing, like you said, the inner knowing of
Yeah,
what
yeah.
what is next.
And it's like when we dance five rhythms. Like I've been
Yeah.
trying to go to five rhythms for 2 years with one of my girls.
Okay.
Yeah, and just mom had just passed, and all of a sudden everything aligns. Leia's coming to Fredericton. I'm like, absolutely. I knew I had to do it. Anyway, did it. And there were so many things leading up to it that like you just couldn't make this stuff up, that I knew
Right.
was there with me, and like, it was absolute nuttery. But anyway,
And that's where I met you.
yeah,
Well,
that's
I met you before, but we kind of connected there.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
because you and Margie,
Mhm.
yeah,
My
and
cousin.
Jim,
Yeah.
her son, was my best friend. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was really nice to kind of really connect with you there.
Yeah.
Um, so talk to us about Grounded Ways. That is your, I'm going to say, business,
Yeah, it's
like aligned business.
I yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
yoga and meditation and Reiki. And the whole purpose of wanting to do grounded ways is, and the name came to my husband and I, because I think there's such benefits to doing things that help like root us in our knowing,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And one thing that I've learned in my life is that the answers are in here. Like I don't need to, I'll be shown things, but my path isn't going to be what yours is. And what works
Right.
for you won't work for me. What works for me won't work for somebody else. And the intention behind grounded ways is just to reconnect people with their own knowing, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know what you need already. But the problem is we're not taught to connect with that anymore, or we are, more people are doing it, which is beautiful.
Yeah, I would think more people are
Yeah.
coming to it than before, like even just having these conversations with people, you know.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm meeting all kinds of people now where we can have these kinds of conversations where a few years ago I couldn't. If I
Right.
spoke like this to somebody, they would think I was crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I've like the same thing. I've noticed that too. Like definitely way more people are coming to this place now.
Mm-hmm.
But the intention behind it is just to help people through that. So through Reiki sessions,
Mm-hmm.
very much have people coming to me like I did with that weight in their,
Right.
or wherever. And it's just like, you know, they're on the path, they're doing the work, and they know there's more, and they're curious, and they
Right.
know things need to be lifted or moved or shifted, and
Right.
they'll come and I can help facilitate that for them. And it's the same with, you know, yoga, breath, and meditation. Like it's also, you know, integral.
It's all connected. Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
All of that moves energy, moves your things that you're, or a walk. For some people, it's going for a walk or going for a run.
Yeah. 100%.
Today, I just went for a cross country ski. That was kind of meditative in its own way, you know, when you're alone in the woods or whatever it is, dancing,
Yeah.
singing. Yeah. So many things. And there's so many offerings lately. So that's really good. So I think you're right. More people are coming to. So do you teach yoga classes too? Is that so? Where did you become a certified yoga teacher, or did you get certified?
No, I got certified through Eating Space. And yeah, so I'll do privates at my home. I had like last summer, I do women's retreats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I had like we did one specifically, and it was like Love Yourself Women's Retreat, and we, you know, and we sat in circle, and then we did some yoga, and I did some Reiki on the ladies, and I served. We have beautiful gardens here, so I served them a nice organic lunch from the garden, and we sat outside, and it's just a beautiful way to gift yourself something that you're just nurturing and feeding that connection again. So that's basically what, you know, Grounded Ways is about. It's about reconnecting to yourself, or if you already are connected to self, just allowing a space to go deeper. And sometimes it is beautiful to share that space with other people, and we do need a little, you know, push or whatever it may be. And yeah, that's what my intention is with this for sure. Yeah.
And do you think you'll be doing another women's retreat this summer?
Yes, I'm planning on it. I'd like to do a couple probably this summer. I want to, yeah, we have beautiful forests behind us. So I'd really like to do a beautiful earthing walk and yeah, meditation. I've got things in the works, so I'm really hoping that will come to fruition and plan a beautiful day. Yeah.
So how can people find you? I know you have Grounded Ways on Facebook.
Yeah.
Is there a website or just?
Yeah, groundedways.com.
Okay.
And yeah, I do a lot of writings on there. Groundedways.com, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm not super active on those platforms, but
well, that's okay. But I think it's true. Like when people people will find you if you're the you know what I mean, when the teacher and student find each other, I guess. Sorry,
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say, when when it's right,
Yeah,
the
that's so,
teacher appears. So
yeah.
you never know who might be watching and want to connect with you.
Well, I'm always here, so
So your life too, I'm just curious because you mentioned your husband, and I know you have a couple of boys. So how, and I mean, it sounds like you've lived this, this way, like with your, integrated with your soul,
yeah.
your whole life. So how, I'm just thinking about the conversations you must have with your children. They must be different. Do you know what I mean? I think about that, like how
Yeah.
you would talk to your kids as opposed to someone else might talk to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally. I mean, I think I probably speak to them more like everybody else than you would think. Maybe, I don't know.
I
But my
know.
son does, like my one son Jasper. He's always just like, "Mom, you just go into it, don't you?" And I'm,
That's the best.
you
He
know,
says that.
I know. So
You
it's
just
like,
go into it, don't you? I
I
love
know,
that.
like
Oh my God.
momsplaining, I guess, with things, or like he was like, "Oh, enjoy your podcast, Mom," or like I'm very open to what I'm doing.
No, I figured you would be.
I
That's what
like
yeah.
reconnect. I'm going in to be with the forest, or I need to go sit.
Right.
He'll come with me. I have a medicine wheel in the forest, and
Oh my goodness.
yeah, and we'll sit and we'll connect. And I'm very open with the way I speak to him about it, and he knows, both my boys, very much that this is my path. This is what I choose.
Mhm.
My husband is beautifully grounded in his own way. No,
Mhm.
it's not the same as my,
Right.
but and so we honor and respect that. Like,
That's really nice. Yeah.
yeah, I say this is my path and they can find their own, and I really want to like make sure they understand what it is that I'm doing, but
Right.
I don't, if this isn't resonating with you, like we'll have chats at dinner time and talking about all this. I just have to tell you a story that's really cute. My son
Yes.
he's so techie, it's crazy. Like he's taking these university courses already, and
Oh my
like
goodness. How old is he?
neural pathways, and
Oh wow. Okay. Neural pathways.
yeah, he's 14.
Okay.
Neural networking and all this stuff. Anyway, so we're sitting there and we were talking about like life and consciousness the other night at dinner, and we're sitting there and having this really cool conversation, and it was this beautiful moment that like brought tears to my eyes, because here's my son who is explaining consciousness to me in the most like technical way, based on his like computing brain, like
Right.
these like algorithms and different things like this. And I'm listening, and I'm chatting back to him from my like spiritual, like earthbound,
Right.
and we're speaking these
Oh,
same language. Like
yes.
it was so powerful. I'm just like, oh my God, Noah, like this is beautiful. Like we're saying the same thing.
The same thing.
We're
Well, there is a scientific proof now of, like
yeah,
you said, the
network.
network pathways. I can't think of all the words now, but yeah.
I don't know if that was right, but
But you already, but isn't it funny that we have to have, we don't, some people do have to have the scientific proof
yeah,
to believe what you already know, like you said, that deep inner knowing
yeah,
that you have and a lot of people have,
yeah,
that it's real.
yeah, exactly. And he was just describing like,
That's amazing.
the depths of it. And I was just like, and that was a beautiful lesson for me too. It's like
Yeah.
he gets it, like, and that's the thing. I think anyone willing to be open enough to listen to somebody else or explore
Mhm.
possibilities, like you'll get it in your own way.
Right. Like it doesn't have to be, yeah, you're right, one way. It's different ways that you can find out,
Right.
or find the inner knowing if
Yeah.
you're open to it.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah. So it was really beautiful. But that was just, those
Oh,
are
but I love that. That's an awesome story.
yeah.
Well, keep me posted on that because,
Yeah.
yeah, he could be, who knows?
I know. I love having the chats with them all, and they know it. But sometimes they're just like, "Okay, mom."
Yeah, you're real. I love the saying you said. Your other son Jasper, you really get into it, don't you, Mom?
I
I think that's gonna stick with me.
oh yeah, he's
That's
a treat,
awesome.
that one. Yeah.
Well, Danielle, it's really a pleasure talking to you about your story and your deep knowing and your practices. And I mean, I can feel your energy even just talking to you here. So
thank you. And
thank you so much.
Space. It's beautiful. I love all your interviews you're doing. It's so beautiful to have someone like you facilitating this for everybody. So.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And maybe we'll do it again. You never know.
Never know.
Or we'll see you on the dance floor soon. There is another 5 Rhythms. I'll just put up a little plug for that here in May, another 5 Rhythms workshop with Leah. So I'll post that somewhere.
I'm going to be there.
Yeah, I'll be there too. All right. Thank you so much, Danielle.
Hey, thank you.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next episode of The Soul's Kitchen. Thanks, Danielle.
Thank you.